guys, welcome back. Leos. Whatever needs to come out, I guess. Whatever you need to know. Alright, Leos. Actually, let me put on my protection oil. Okay. I was hearing something about religion. I don't know how to say that in English actually. Me persiné. You know I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. I grew up religious, just not that one. But I almost did, and I was like, what the fuck? I don't even know how to do that correctly. I don't know, there's something here about religion. But I'm not going to go too deep into it because I'm not fully getting it. Whoa. Okay. We got coherence. There's so many. I'm not taking all of these. Coherence. This is interesting. It says the frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we deserve. This is kind of matching up with Gemini's. Let's see, emergence. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. And then belief. See? There was something here. And then delight is the last one. Okay. I'm going to leave these two out, but at the bottom. I feel like I heard when I was like, I'm not going to say anything into that. I heard I'm starting to believe. This could be about religion. This could also be about spirituality, right? It could be whatever it is that you're looking into, what you've been trying to. I feel like there's a higher knowledge that you've been trying to tap into, trying to get into. And you're starting to understand, you're starting to believe. And all I can think of is Mulder. I want to believe. I feel like your heart and mind are finally starting to become one, right? I feel like for a long time your mind was saying yes, but your heart wasn't matching. It was almost like you still were holding on to the ideas of, well, this isn't happening this way. There was a lot of beliefs that you were still holding on to, even though you didn't want to, even though you wanted to change. It was almost like, well, I'll believe it when I see it. When in reality, we all know that faith is believing even if you don't see it, right? It's trusting. And I feel like you would see it. You would see it. The universe, God, whatever it is that you cater to, they would send you signs. I feel like you would ask for signs and they would send you signs, but it was like, okay, but I need more. Like, it was never enough to see, because it is an idea. It is a false idea of, I need to be able to have it in my hand. I need to be able to work hard. If I'm not doing it this way, if I'm not doing it that way, the way society says, it does take a long time to unprogram yourself from that, especially, depending on how you grew up. It can take just a little bit longer from you to remove yourself from that programming, right? So I feel like there was either heart that was believing but mind wasn't, or vice versa, right? It was one or the other, but you weren't lined up. You weren't lined up, right? And I'm hearing soul, like heart, mind, and soul. It was almost like all three weren't matching up, and because of that, you were having a hard time with your beliefs. Your beliefs would, I feel like you had a hard time staying faithful to what you believed in. I feel like you, okay, so I'm getting somebody that would go through really rough times and you would still have the faith, but then, you know, eventually it would build up and you would be like, you know what, screw this, this is not real, I'm not blah blah blah. You would have like a crash out, right? You would have a crisis of faith, and it's because, you know, things were not moving, things were not going the way that in your timing, in the way that you needed it to. Why do you think so many people drop out of spiritualism, drop out of believing in tarot, believing in like energy work and Reiki and all that stuff? I feel like spiritualism is actually one of the hardest healings that you have to go through. It's almost like I'm seeing, like, you know, you've seen those memes where they force your eyes open for you to see the truths. It makes you like literally face truths that you don't want to see, and I don't feel like religion does that. I feel like spiritualism does that, because it's almost like, oh, I feel great, and they show you this like feeling of how amazing you can feel once you've healed, and then they pull it back and they're like, okay, well, this is the prize. Now you're gonna have to feel like shit, and like you're gonna go through hell, and then you're gonna come back, and then you're gonna go back again, and then it's like, we're going to clean out the wound, and this is really gonna hurt, but at the end of it, you're gonna be great, right? Most people tap out. They're like, I'm out. This is too much. Nothing is coming to fruition. None of my things are manifesting. Like, who was it? Kat Von D, who decided to give up on, she ended up like giving away or throwing away all her tarot cards. And I don't know what the reasoning was or why she did it. But either way, I genuinely feel like it was for the reasons that it was too much. It was too much work, which is crazy because she actually had good things going for her, right? But I feel like you don't understand, to get to that part of the other side where you unlearn so much shit, you have to go through so much. It is hard. It is hard. I do not actually think that a lot of people can handle this, and I don't feel like everybody is meant to, because this is very, very difficult, okay? I've been through some hard shit early on in my life, throughout my whole life. I can earnestly say that this has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, is healing. It has been healing, because you have to look at yourself, you have to look at outside, you have to look at everything, and you have to take accountability for even your own actions when you were wrong, right? And it's not easy. And I feel like you guys have gone through it. You guys now are at a point where you guys match mind, spirit, and soul, right? Mind, heart, and spirit. Mind, heart, and spirit is what I'm getting. I do feel like because of this, because you've been through it and you now match, there is a childlike innocence coming out of you, because you are starting anew. You are starting anew. You have a childlike mind where you don't have all of these fake ideas, fake thoughts, fake programming that was placed in you anymore. You've removed all those. So you're starting almost like a new life with a childlike mentality, and you're going to live your life on your own terms. And I feel like because of that, there's going to be a lot of almost like almost like inner child. You're going to be able to enjoy your inner child. Do you know how much we suppress that? Because we're told as children, even by our parents, stop behaving that way. That is unacceptable. You're too rowdy. You're too this. You're too that. Stop that. You are to be seen, not heard. We are suppressed. We were suppressed. You were suppressed, right? By beliefs that were not yours. By religious beliefs. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do this. People that wear makeup, the dumbest shit, okay? The dumbest shit is what we're told, right? And because of that, you're now starting, I feel like I said, with fresh eyes, with childlike eyes, and you're actually going to be able to enjoy and allow your inner child out and get to enjoy so many opportunities where your inner child didn't get to enjoy those. And I feel like almost at all, right? Almost at all. You didn't get to enjoy those. Alright, let's start to clarify. Coherence, which is actually 4. Oh, we got 2 of Swords. I'm getting that you guys needed to make a choice, and there was a choice made, and you spoke your truth. I feel like you guys spoke your truth, but it feels like because there was such a long period of time where you were blinded by truth, where you were blinded by other people's opinions about the truth of yourself, right? About the truth of how you were different, about the truth of how you're supposed to be allowed to be different. And I feel like because you were blinded for so long, you guys were able to see in the dark, right? You guys learned a sixth sense of being able to see with your eyes wide shut, right? And because of that, like, you've gained this new perspective where you can see without having to see, right? And this is your intuitive gift. This is your gift of being able to discern without needing your eyes. You can discern with your intuition, because for so long people kept trying to cover you. People kept trying to blind you to what truths are. So now you can tell the truth without even having to see. You can literally say, no, this isn't right. No, that's not right. No, that's not right for me. And you can basically tell people to fuck off. Like, oh, what you're doing, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm meant to do. And I don't even need to see it. I can feel it, right? And I feel like that's a superpower that you guys have gained through trying to be blinded for so long to your gifts and to who you are and to the amazing person you are, to just who you are amazingly. And people were trying to blind you to that, because if you knew how amazing you were and you let that out, you would take attention from other people, you take attention away from other people, you would grow beyond other people. And people, they don't like that. They don't like that, right? Leos, they don't like that. Let's clarify emergence. Oh, I just heard, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Gonna let it show. Coming. How do you want this? How do you want this? One more. Okay. Yeah, you've healed. You've healed this. You've healed this part of yourself. And it feels like you're coming out of having basically been in a position of healing for a really, really, really long time. Like I said, Healing is very difficult, and it feels like you've been healing for a really long time, and you're now coming out. And I literally heard that song, I'm coming out, I want the world to know. And you're coming out fighting. I feel like you're coming out fighting. You're coming out almost like flamboyant. Hello, Leos. Like, you're like, I'm here. But you're showing up your true self, who you are, not giving a shit who or what thinks anything about you. You have no qualms about who you are. You have no doubt. You are shining brightly, and you are loving every part of this, and you will never again let anybody tell you you're too much of anything. Bitch, if I'm too much, get the fuck out my face. If I'm too much, get out of my face, because I'm going to continue to be that much and so much more, and I don't give a shit what you think, right? If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. You don't have to be in my area, in my bubble. Get the fuck out of my bubble, right? Why do you feel the need to tell me I'm too much? You don't need to be here to see that I'm too much. People say that when it's intimidating to them because they can't tap into who they naturally are. So for them, they're like, lower your flames so that you don't make me feel less than. No, you feel less than because you're insecure and you have self-esteem issues. I'm not making you feel less than. I'm just being me, who I was born to be, who I am innately, and I'm not going to lower who I am anymore ever again, because I've healed that shit, and I will never fucking douse my flame for nobody ever again. Right? With the tower, yeah, the tower here, you have the tower. Like, you're going to make waves and you don't give a shit, right? With the Two of Pentacles, making a choice. And I feel like that choice is you choosing your own fucking path, choosing to do what you love, choosing people and places and things that only give to you, understand you, will love you for exactly who you are, right? Alright, let's go deeper. That's what he said. Yeah, you're challenging the status quo. You don't give a fuck. You're gonna come out and you're gonna challenge the status quo, and you're going to change the system. That is, whenever somebody is no longer afraid of being themselves, you are now challenging the status quo, because there is another person now that is truly themselves and doesn't give a fuck and doesn't care what anybody says, right? When you don't become part of the system, you are now against the system, to be honest with you, and you are showing people that you can be your true selves. You don't have to follow the crowd, right? This is bringing you new and opportunity, but it's also bringing in new hope for you, but also new hope for other people, right? You have a clear vision and your perspective is completely on point, right? You have a perspective on your past, on your present, on your future. Remember I said there's an alignment here happening with mind, heart, and soul. There is a full alignment, and the future foresight is 2020, right? You see clearly what you need to do. You see clearly where you need to be, and you have no doubts anymore. Look, fireworks, passion. You have a win in, I feel like you're going to have a win in both relationship and in your career. And there's here like having to do with the woman, right? Somebody that you're interested in. Yeah, you're gonna have success here. You're gonna reach your goals, and for some of you guys are this woman, and you guys are gonna reach fame. But you guys have a lot of ambition, and you guys are gonna reach achievement. Yeah, no, you guys, your life is about to become very passionate, very much. I'm seeing like jet setting and taking holidays and doing all these things that you weren't ever able to do because you were so busy being blinded and having to try to figure out how to do life. Look, with the moon, you didn't see the truth about things. And there were so many things that people like loved about you, and they would actually hide this from you. They wouldn't tell you like, oh, you're so awesome, you're so... People would never, they would never, because then, you know, you would know how good you were, right? Why would they help you? Why would they help you? They wouldn't. They wouldn't. No. I feel like you've never, for the most part, people that were your family, people that were, you've never received compliments on your artistic, you never received compliments on the things you do, like, oh, I'm proud of you, none of that stuff. I feel like you've never gotten those kudos or anything like that from people that should have. From people that should have, but they didn't, they wouldn't. They wouldn't, because then that would take away from them in their minds. It doesn't matter, because you're winning. So it doesn't matter. Like Lizzo said, I don't give a shit because I'm winning. Right? Alright, let's get you guys some advice. Start delegating. Yeah. There's going to be a lot going on. Like I said, there's going to be a lot with, I feel like romance and financial. It's time to start delegating. Some of you guys might need to start getting help. If you have children, start delegating. It's also saying ask others, including me, which is this is Green Tara, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself. Yeah, because you're about to be really busy. Oh my god, there's so many here. I'm just gonna get the top one and put the, it says bright future, stop worrying, everything is gonna be fine. And I'm getting this as the Sun card, and this is Lakshmi. Stop worrying, everything's gonna be fine. And you have 2 elephants in the back, which elephants are a sign of money coming in, right? Yeah, things are starting to change around for you guys, and it's because you guys finally match heart, mind, and soul, and your beliefs are firm, and that's why there's delights coming in. All right, Leos, I love you guys so much. I hope this helped, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.